All right, we're live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Cross Project Council meeting. Today is June 24th. And let's dive right in. Do we have any announcements that to make?
Well,
That sounds like,
how about raise of hands? Who's bought their JS Conf tickets? We do have those maintainer discounts, so hit us up. I know we put a deadline on it, but we will see what we can do. Ethan is going. Yay. Claudio, Wes.
Yeah, I actually have a thing. It's not an announcement, maybe for the private session, which is regarding the ESP program. I think you might know a little bit what I'm talking about, Robin.
Sure.
Just want to share a little bit of what happened the last week to the rest of the CPC to fill everyone in, and yeah, that's it. Okay.
all right, awesome. So I suppose that means we'll discuss this in the private session, which we should make it a little longer as a result. And so let's say that at the very least that we'll get into the private session at 10 to. At the very latest, sorry. All right. Let's get into the next item in the agenda, and this would be the board meeting updates. There was a board meeting this Friday, and so we'll do an updates. What we'll try to have more structured was a part down deck in the next CPC call, so in 2 weeks. Um, in terms of staff update, I'm sorry, I have like it's summer here, and as you folks might know, in Europe we do not have AC, and so instead we have flies. And so I have a fly that's dancing around me right now. So apologies if I just go like this. It's not about you, it's about the fly. So in the staff updates, we had I believe um two things. One is the loopback exemption request.
Yeah,
And I
so
don't know if you've been able to make any progress on this, Joe.
Ben and I are working on it. We're just figuring out a couple of things, and it's been a little while, so we're having trouble tracking down some information, but we've got folks working on it.
All right, awesome. So it's great to have news on this topic. So can you just maybe add to the issue itself, just that like there's movement on this?
Yeah, we'll do.
And that is, do you know which issue number this is?
Yep, I'm on it. The IP policy license exemption request.
Yeah, it's 885.
Yeah, got it.
All right, cool. And so the other one, but that's also in the agenda, that's 1472. It's the Dev Connect program. And this is waiting on you, Robin and Kylie, to provide some feedback. I don't know if you want to discuss this now or once we get to it, or if you don't have feedback yet.
I don't
So
have feedback
that's
yet. Yeah.
all right. So that's fine. So then it's just move into the agenda. Um, yeah, I think that covers it. Okay. So there is a bunch of minutes that I put into open pull request. That's 81, 87, like sorry, 1476 to 1481. Those are just minutes that people need to have a look at and approve. Michael, thank you. You're the only one that actually looked at them. So thank you for reviewing them like 2 weeks ago. If someone else could give a thumbs up so we can actually merge those, that would be great. There shouldn't be anything controversial about any of those. I just copy pasted the Google Doc into an issue. But yeah,
Yeah,
it would be nice to get back on track.
and if folks see like missing GitHub handles, that's like one of the things that you can just create a review suggestion and help us update those and land them and get them into the repo.
Oh yeah, so I was a savage. I just didn't do any. I just copy pasted to get them done.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't. I think it's fine to merge them even without all the perfect details. We can figure out who's who between whatever.
Yes, and I believe like we're better off was incomplete. God, this fire is gonna it's really sort of annoying me. I think we're better off was incomplete but like shipped minutes rather than unshipped minutes. Like this is a classic done is better than perfect um, case, in my opinion.
Yeah.
All right. So 1472, this is the GitHub's Dev Connect program that I was just talking about like a minute ago. We had a chat about it, and we agreed that this would it would be good to have Kylie and Robin dig into it to make sure that we aligned all sort of like sponsoring programs and to not accidentally disfavor or favor some of our sponsors. And so we're waiting for y'all's input to that to be able to address this issue. Next one is 1470. That is Code of Conduct Information Sharing within a project in the foundation. So on this topic, there was a working session. I believe this is an output of a working session 3 weeks ago. It was it was discussed in last week's CPC call, and we wanted to make it the working session for last week, but none of us could make it to last week. And also, it wasn't clear that this was the working session topic because information sharing sometimes is difficult. And as a result, I think this is a good topic for the next working session.
Sounds
So I
good.
think that's the only thing there is to it, really. So that would be I can spell. Um, all right. Native script charter approval. That's 1467. Um, I'm not sure what the status is on this. I think yeah, two folks approved it. I gave too much of a hand, frankly, to also be a reasonable review pair of eyes. So it would be good to have a few more folks look into it. Um, the idea is to sort of like standardize our charters as much as possible to like the template that we have and make them um, kind of like focused and simple and lightweight. And I think that serves the purpose. So I think this charter should be approved, but it would be good to have a few more eyes. Any questions, comments about this? I see Chris just reviewed it.
Just to double check.
Well, I mean, I don't know.
Oh,
It's
sorry.
1467.
Yeah, that's just what I want to double check. Yeah, I can also give a review. Yep.
That would be great. Because I think, yeah, background here is remember, somehow NativeScript made it without the charter formalized. And then we asked them to actually fix this, and they just delivered. Without us having to like ask them a number of times. So that's great. And we should do our part, which is to actually review this quickly. All right. Same for Cosmos GL. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing this right. This would benefit from a bunch more eyes also. Ben. Oh yeah, you just
I
added
thought it
I was got
theme is native script, so I just snuck it in there. If folks are reviewing
uh,
charters, why not review too?
yeah. I was just like, oh, this is weird that it just sits below there. And it was actually, I was, because I thought it was like, it's funny, because I knew it had happened after. So I didn't understand why it was like further down in the thing. So that explains it. Yes. Um, so yeah, again, it would be great to have people actually look at this. Do folks have questions about those charter reviews, or because it feels like it's something that could take less time than, I mean, sorry, that we could be faster to turn around on. And um, I'm wondering if it is that folks don't know what they want to look, what to assess, or because folks are busy, or they're not sure what exactly is asked of them to do. But it feels like we could be faster at replying to those requests. So just a time constraint or something, because it really should take a few minutes. So anyway, um, moving on, I guess. 1457, that's a contributor covenant version. I thought we had addressed this. What's the,
Yeah, let me comment on it.
oh yeah, timeline.
Yeah. So I thought
We're
I
waiting for the timeline.
yeah, I suggested August 1st, and they said that that seemed very doable, and they were happy to have encouragement to get it done by then. So I will add a comment to that effect.
Awesome. All right, cool. 1425. This is the services.md. I think the last thing we had here was the draft policy that Rudd gave us. And we're waiting for a PR from him, right?
Seems like a PR was open last week.
Oh, so the PR was open. That's 1482, but it isn't tagged, so that's why we didn't see it. So that's why it's not in. All right, so let's tag it properly. And I think we should make sure to review this, right? Like, is this something we need to discuss today, or is this something that people are comfortable reviewing asynchronously and having a conversation about in 2 weeks? All right, let's review async. So again, review requests, and let's talk about it in 2 weeks. Moving to 1417, remaining items of the code of conduct plan of action. So I think if we look at this, there are 3 items in here, right? One is sub-issue go from 2 to 2.1 in the COC. And then clarify definition of project in a preamble, etc. So I think at least the first one we can sort of wait on. We're jumping directly to 3, right? And will is anyone familiar with enough with the version 3 of the COC to know whether we'll need all of the preamble stuff to talk about projects and scope it inside, or has that been sort of like fixed in the language of the COC itself?
I suspect we'll still need a little something at least at the CPC level.
Jesus.
Since those documents tend to be project specific, but I think it'll be minimal.
So it feels like here, like we need to fix this issue, like the sub issue to point to like the issue that we have on version 3 of the code of conduct.
Yeah.
We fixed item 3. And then in item 1, that's the onboarding stuff. And and that's essentially adding the COC stuff to the onboarding checklist. That's like something that we're going to hash out in a working session and like under half of it, like fairly easily.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, we've looked at this a couple of times, and I think Kate is pulling together. Yeah, my comment on May 6th. Kate's going to review projects code of conduct to see if they're in compliance and note any improvements they may find in the initial review. If I'm remembering this correctly.
I completed looking into that. I can share the results either here on GitHub or I can send around the spreadsheet that I put together, whichever you guys prefer.
Yeah, I think the thinking was that we would move forward on all of this once we got the new contributor covenants. And then
Yeah, I think that's where we landed on it too, because we didn't want to ask them twice to change things around.
All right. So, huh. Um, so there's the onboarding bit. There is catching up old projects, and then there's moving to 3, right?
yeah.
It feels like the onboarding, the checklist stuff could be done prior to moving to 3, but then if there are changes in 3, we might have to change it. Do you want all wait for this until like August and get back into this in August?
That seems reasonable.
I mean, it's not like this is fresh stuff anyway, right?
Yeah. I mean, if there's any work we can do before then, that'd be fine, but it feels like it might make sense to just wait until we can get our heads around the whole picture and then
Yeah.
just forward.
Works for me.
Okay.
All right. Let's wait. And then we have continuity policy and package registries. And there's been quite a bunch of work on this. I don't know if who can fill us in on this.
Maybe Ben or Wes or who's been Chris, anyone from the security side of things and up to speed on Rudd's work? No? I know I saw on the issue that there's a PR, so at least there's that there in the chat.
Think it's yeah, okay. So I think it's close. Like there's been some minor nits in the PR, but nothing that is like really controversial. So I think the next step here is if folks want to look at this, which I would suggest they do, because it's not super long. And then I'll get back to Rudd and ensure that he makes these adjustments because I think they're all reasonable, the ones in here. And then, yeah, I think this one can be merged. And then I do think this gets added to our onboarding checklist.
Oh, interesting, that too.
I would say yeah. I mean, like this is part of the like you need to adopt these things so that we have continuity. And if we don't do it as part of our onboarding, it's very hard to get projects to do it.
Um, and then you're also going to go look at which projects haven't done this, right?
Yeah. We'll have to do like a audit.
So just like we do for the code of conduct.
Yep.
And also we're going to do this was, is there anything else that we're sort of like catching up on? I mean, I don't know. I'm just wondering if it's like, if like it's sort of the
Yeah,
same thing, right? Update the checklist, make sure that everyone's aligned on this, and
yeah. I see where you're going. Like it would be a good idea, and it's probably easier for maintainers if we batch this in some way. It's not unreasonable to expect that like once a year there's some regular thing that projects need to do to stay
yeah,
current with things or to adjust things. So it might be that we think about batching this this is gonna sound weird, but like seasonally. So like, okay, here are the summer updates for OpenJS projects, if there are any.
Yeah, and that would be interesting also if we could um, align it with like elections
Mhm.
and use it as a way to get people who sort of like drift away from
Yeah,
being part of like the more regular foundation sort of like calls
yeah,
to join those a bit more regularly.
yeah. I mean, because
Um,
things have changed, right? Like GitHub will update certain things, well, the
yeah,
CPC
yeah,
will
for
decide
sure.
on certain things, and just keeping that debt low.
New compliance stuff that shows up,
Okay.
CRA, all of this, all of these nice things. Um, so um, this also seems like something that would be interesting to talk about in a working session. How would we, how could we frame this? Is this something that would be, I don't know, what people think. I saw some nodding before, but um, all right. And the next one we talked about already, right? It's like 12:55. It's literally the same thing. It's onboarding. Um, do you all want to talk about this in the working session next week or about the COC information sharing thing?
Okay, sorry, Toby. I didn't hear you. Could you repeat?
In the working session next week, are you most interested in the COC information sharing work or um, um, this sort of maintainer seasonal summer update package thing that we're just discussing right now? Or as Ben was just suggesting, do half an hour of each.
I think we can do half an hour each, if that's
Want to
enough.
do that? All right, cool. Um, so let's add. Well, do we really have like a? Do we open a new issue for this? Sort of like organizing, or do we like piggyback on the one of the open ones? That's weird.
Which one are we talking about?
Um, well, we're talking about like updating. I mean, sort of regularly getting in touch with maintainers to sort of like update them, probably like once a year, to have sort of like a spring cleanup or a summer update package or on things like new onboarding requirements or that kind of stuff, right? And because we have a few that kind of like, well, a few, we have like two things that fall in this category. Um, I Are we fine opening? Like, to me, it feels like this should be a new issue that would like reference the two other ones. We can have a discussion about it. Yeah. Is there a volunteer to actually open this issue? All right, I'll open this issue as soon as I'm done with this fly. I'm gonna go kill the fly, and then I will open this issue.
You need some
And I think,
chopsticks. Some chopsticks.
yeah, some chopstick skills.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and the services MD would also fall in this, right? Right, like services MD, code of conduct updates, and package registries continuity policy, right? Those three things. All right, cool. Um, yeah, I have a dog. I can't have a dog and a cat. Like we've tried this, and it was a pretty big failure. Um, and my dog's really good with flies, though. It's a little gross, but anyway, um, I think we're done, no? I mean, this looks like the bottom of the agenda. I think we have a working session set for next week. We have a pet a channel on the OpenJS Slack, which is great. I will go there to talk about my fly, which I imagine that's why it was referenced. I know it wasn't. I'm sorry. Anything else that we want to discuss before we move into the private session?
Yeah, I have one thing. Maybe if you named your fly, it could be a pet, and you could keep it around and post to the
All
channel.
right, let's move into the private session.
All right, I'll stop the
Thank
stream.
you. Thank you very much, folks, for joining the CPC call this week. Yeah, following my tribulations with flies. And we'll see you in a couple of weeks. Thank you so much. Bye for now.